All right, guys. So I'm going to get started here. I'm recording it. I'll stick up a copy of the recording as soon as we're kind of done and I get it up onto YouTube, just for people who aren't here. Sorry about the delay. It's a little bit rushed. We just came back from a fleet that took a bit longer than expected. So yeah. Um, right. So just to get started, just to preface this a bit, I did say a couple of weeks ago that we would be trying to do meetings or smaller catch ups every couple of every couple of weeks. So what I'm aiming for is at least once, maybe twice a week. Um, on weekends. Now I know this one's EU, and I did promise a US time zone one. I just didn't get an opportunity to do it last night. I would have to do it on Saturday nights. And I didn't get the chance to do it last night. So it's we'll do an EU one today, and we'll probably do a US one um, later on next week, or maybe the week after. We'll see how things turn out in Eve. But basically, just to do a quick recap of recent events that are happening with ourselves and around Eve. Obviously, there is action heating up in Faithabolis and Esoteria. A couple of weeks ago, Fire, Horde, and Test basically began to push further into Faithabolis, closer to the Esoteria border, getting jump bridges right up to the entries of Esoteria in D4 TAC. And then Horde had their Fortizar, or have their Fortizar in TRO7. So anyone who was on our deployment there a month ago or a month and a half ago, whenever it was, will remember TRO7. We had some forts there with an iHub. So basically, they all forward staged in there, and they started attacking into Esoteria and harassing RMC. Now, that's not good for us because Esoteria is a kind of a boundary region to Imperium space. RMC isn't Imperium, but they are allies, and they helped in it during the war, the World War B. So I wanted to make sure that we were kind of helping them out a bit. Now Goons and ourselves basically have deployed SIGs down to Esoteria. Goons deployed about a week before we did. We got our SIG set up, and we're starting to run fleets down in Esoteria as well into Faithabolis. We hit kind of a brick wall on timers the first week, Imperium as a whole, but we've started to gain momentum now. Anyone who was on Fappy's fleet the other day would have been there when the TR07 iHub got cracked. That was the first big thing. We dropped the Fortizar the same day, which Goons have now staged into. So Goons are actually staged in TR07, and they're projecting out from there. We're staying staged in D-P, just to keep life simple, basically. And to make it very easy to get up and down to from Fountain. But yeah, progress is starting to happen in Faith. We have deployed, or we are deploying, and we will be deploying Alliance assets down into Esoteria. So people may have seen the pings recently, and there is a post up on the wiki basically detailing what you need to move. But effectively, everybody in the Alliance needs to move that list of ships, which is available on the wiki, into D-P on the Alliance Moves Ops, which will be organized kind of starting tomorrow properly. And then have jump clones there. And then you can continue life as normal, do whatever you were doing in Fountain or wherever. And if stuff kicks off in Faithabolis or Esoteria, then it's a very simple clone jump to Esoteria, jump into the ship, and we're straight into the fight. All right, so that's on a broader alliance level. If you are wanting to deploy down to Faithabolis and do stuff on, to Esoteria and do stuff on a more regular basis, join the Adeptus Astartes SIG, which was started there a couple of weeks ago. It's been a bit rough getting it up and running. numbers obviously are lower than what we're used to. So we're usually forming around 30, between 30 and 70 in fleets. Obviously, when we hit 70, it's a bit easier, but with 30, it can be a bit more difficult. But we're managing. We took a fight there a second ago. 77 versus 211 battleships versus Munins. It was a very touch and go, but it was fun. So that's the kind of stuff we're aiming to get into. Unfortunately, being perfectly honest, it doesn't happen every day. Um, but that is what we're trying to do: get fights in these kind of new battleships, just to well, for the sake of it, really, and to push fire out of the Fedabilis. Um, so that's kind of recent events. There isn't a huge amount else happening in Eve. There's some stuff happening in Curse and Immensity with Triumvirate pushing on fire up there, but Tri are basically getting blobbed by fire. So well, they're only having limited success. I'll put it that way. In terms of Fedabilis, Horde, and Test have completely pulled out of Fedabilis. They are now staged on the border to Fedabilis in Tenerifis, which is a bit away from Goons. So they have pulled back there. Now they're still coming into Fedabilis, but it's that they're no longer staged in there. So that's kind of recent events. There was a bit of political landscape in there as well. One of the probably bigger news items is that PAMFAM have reset Winter Coalition. So PAMFAM basically are now neutral with Winter Coalition. There was joint statements went out from all sides, as far as I'm aware, a couple of days ago, saying that they had completed the SOV swaps. So PAMFAM are taking drones basically proper, and Wintercore are taking other regions in the north. And they have now separated out their space between themselves. They're no longer kind of conjoined in the same regions. There's now clear borders up there, and they've reset each other for content. It doesn't mean anything really in the broader political landscape. It's going to be the same as always. They'll reset each other until something happens, and then they're instantly best blues again. So it's interesting. I thought it would happen before now, but it has finally happened. So I suspect things will heat up a bit with border skirmishes in the north. So it's something we're going to keep an eye on. So that's sorry, recent events, political landscapes. All right, so that's kind of the broader Eve. And what I want to go through a bit now is just the alliance direction. So just to kind of give people an idea of what we're trying to achieve on an alliance level or a strategic level. So the kind of first and foremost that's in my mind when we're doing stuff is trying to rebuild, and we are still rebuilding to an extent, of the infrastructure we had before the war. Obviously, we inhabited Fountain, or at least half of it. We had a lot of facilities there. Now we have gotten probably about 90% of our stuff back up and running over the last 8 months. A lot of people put in a lot of work between getting the stuff set up and then everyone else using it, which allowed us to set up more stuff. So that was a big deal. But we're still kind of working away on that, seeing if there's ways to improve the jump bridge network, and as well as that, opening up new industry facilities. Obviously, CCP are always fiddling with industry. They're trying to change bits and bobs, like little things, without tilting the game too heavily in one direction. They're not doing a very good job of it, but they're trying, I think. And that's something we have to take into consideration on an alliance level. So we are trying to make sure that there are industrial parks there that aren't like super expensive to use. I don't want to get into the mechanics of it, but the more you use it, the more expensive it gets. So we are trying to make sure that once we hit kind of like an upper limit of expense that we're willing to go with, that we are opening up new parks. So that's something. We've also gotten a lot of our keep stars down again. Obviously, we haven't dropped any new ones recently, but we are looking to drop more just to make Fountain that bit more, well, sturdy, I guess is a word. So the big thing is just kind of trying to build up Fountain again. Um, in terms of kind of another thing that's always on the back of our minds, or always on our minds, I guess, is ISK, Alliance ISK and personal ISK. People are probably sick of channels being kind of advertised like missions and different things like that, or mining channels or whatever. There is a lot of ISK to be made in Fountain. The moon stuff, if you're into it, is quite lucrative at the minute. I know prices are taking a dip at the minute. I don't know. I don't think they're going to keep dropping. I think that the current dip in Moongoo is probably due to a lot of people who didn't do anything with the shit they had mined before now suddenly compressing it all and selling it. So I reckon there's been a massive influx of Moongoo to the market. So prices are dropping, but I think they will stabilize and, well, potentially start to rise again after a few weeks. But we'll keep an eye on that. But regardless, we've plenty of moons in Fountain. It's really good ISK, and an added bonus is the Alliance. Well, an added bonus for the Alliance is that it does generate tax straight into the Alliance wallet. So it means we can do shit basically and afford new things. Um, and then as well as that, so like just I guess with the political landscape the way it is, it's kind of been set back up again where nobody is really in a position. Ouch. Where no major block is in a position to attack another major block. I know we're kind of poking fire at the minute, but I mean the two big blocks are PamFam and Imperium, and neither group at the moment is looking to kind of go head to head with each other in their own space. So with Winterco and PamFam resetting, it's kind of set up the next few months at least to be a all coalitions are going to just focus on building their stocks up. So we need to do the same. So use the time between fleets, or whenever, to make use of Fountain, make use of the surrounding regions, make your ISK, and then eventually when the next war kicks off, we'll be in a good position. As well as that, the Alliance, of course, as people are probably sick of hearing me say, is also building up its own reserves of ISK and materials, so that we can kind of learn from some of the stuff we didn't do great before, and hopefully fix this time around. On ISK, please make sure, guys, if you are mining and doing that kind of thing, that you are paying the taxes right. Please don't have us chasing you. It's a ball ache to do. Nobody likes having to chase people for ISK. If you're mining, make sure you're paying up. Ladle, you keep keying up, by the way. Obviously, with Alliance ISK, we're doing things like the NPC Sotios. I know they're kind of a ball ache to do, and they don't always provide us with ISK. But when they do, it's a big payout. So for anyone who wasn't aware, we ran an NPC Sotio about a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, and we got a Cayman blueprint, which is about 50 bill. And then we ran another one 2 jumps away a few days later, and we got a Komodo blueprint, which is a couple of 100 bill as well. So all that goes straight back into the funds like SRP, infrastructure funds, savings, war chests, all that kind of stuff. And it's something we do need. So if you see those ops going up, please do join. The more people we have, the easier it is to do them. I know they're not super fun or anything like that, but they are necessary. And then hopefully people understand why. I've already kind of said that we need to get assets down into Esoteria. Please check out the wiki if you're not sure, or ask your corp directors. They should have a better understanding. If they don't, they can poke me. And if there's any issues, we can go through those. And jump clones are very important, guys. Please make sure you get jump clones in D-B. One thing I do want to touch on, it's a bit of a gray area. Um, Previously in Initiative, uh, during StratOps, care bearing was 100% not allowed. So if a beta goes up, you dock your Orqual, and then you can undock it again when the beta is over. That's basically how it works. There's a couple of reasons for that, but historically, or at least culturally, within Initiative, it's to basically ensure that everybody's pulling their weight. Now, that was when we were a pure PvP alliance. I think it's fair to say we're not a pure PvP alliance anymore. I don't think there are many pure PvP alliances left in the game. The game just does not support them. So you've had to branch out, and Init has had to do that as well. And it's not a bad thing. I'm sure some people, like the elite PvPers, will disagree, but it's always good to bring different aspects of anything together so that so that you can kind of grow and evolve a bit as a group. And I think we've done a fairly good job of that over the last year. We've taken in, I know, unfortunately, as I said, the game doesn't really support pure PvP groups. So we've had our Tickle Bros join a year ago. And as we all know, they're massive Care Bears. So that's a joke. But we've had a lot of corps join, over the last year, and I think for the most part everybody is integrated fairly well. Like, I'm very happy with it. If I'm being honest, it's always a bit of a risky move when alliances grow fast, but I think the people that have joined, they're a credit to themselves, and it's been kind of cool to see Init grow the way it has without losing too much of its identity. Now, I don't want. That's not me saying we're going to keep growing or anything like that. But if you look at us 8 months ago, we were about 4,000 people in the alliance. We're currently we have 11,000, but we're more like 10,000 because of the Ghost Corps. That's actually a bit less, probably about 9,000 because of the Ghost Corps. But still, I mean, that's a sizable level of growth. So, to maintain ourselves the way we have, and not to have any major clashes on both sides, uh, as cultures mesh from different alliances joining a single group, it's I think overall we're I'm fairly happy with it. I think we're in a good position. And what that means as well is that our other time zones have grown, which is nice. It wasn't just like the EU blob got bigger. Our US time zone got sizably bigger. Our AU time zone got sizably bigger. And you can definitely see that from fleet pings and different activities going on in the alliance. And it's really great to see. So, but what I was saying before I went on that tangent was basically during StratOps, all right, we haven't really enforced the no care bearing rule, and I don't think we need to, because we're at a point where we're big enough that the PvPers keep doing their thing, and we, as long as we're getting content, that's cool. And then the guys who kind of like the industrialists, you do your thing, you make money, and the alliance makes money, and that pays for SRP. So it's a bit of a culture shift for Init. It's a bit of a difficult one, I would say. But what I will say is that if you are doing stuff and there are StratOps out, do not expect to be saved. So I know there's a Rourke who got lucky the other day. We were doing the Komodo op, which was, I wasn't happy about that Rourke getting tackled because we were doing something to get the alliance money. But if you ping and there's a strat up going on, do not expect to be saved. So it's going to be at your own risk. And if you die, then it's kind of on you. That sounds a bit harsh, but it's just something to keep in mind. I'm saying it not to piss on people. It's just so that everybody is aware that strat ops will continue to take precedent over everything else. So if there's a strat op going on, you just need to keep that in mind. Obviously, I would prefer people join them, but I know there's a multitude of different reasons why some people might not be able to. For example, if you got online an hour and a half after the 4 hour strat up started, and different things like that. So it's just something to keep in mind, guys. I did want to mention it because it's been coming up more and more over the last few months. I have been trying not to make a big deal of it, and I don't really want to turn this into a massive deal because, like I said, we're growing and certain things are going to change. The way we do things, it will update and adapt to our to what we are now. But just please keep in mind if there are strat ups going on, that those take precedent over everything else. If your Rorqual fleet gets tackled, then you're kind of fucked. So just be wary of it. One other thing, which is not so much a fun topic, but I do need to mention it or at least reinforce it again. Up until recently, the Alliance had been handling all drama. Thankfully, we don't have a huge amount of it, but we still, unfortunately, do have a small percentage of people who seem to like pretending they're 12-year-olds. So corporations are now handling all issues internally. So if somebody shoots your warrior 2 because it was shooting a frigate NPC in a belt, you don't go to the Diplo team anymore. You go to your own corp directors. And I expect the corp directors and the corp leadership to sort it out as adults between themselves. If you can't, then the Alliance can get involved. And I think it's all fair to say nobody likes it when I get involved in things. So for the small minority out there, please act like adults. And corporations are now the people sorting issues out. If it's an issue outside of the Alliance, so if some random goon called Mittani comes in and kills your Ishtar, then you can go to the Diplos. But other than that, it's all any internal shit is handled basically between corporations now. Just something to keep in mind because there are a lot of pings going out to Diplos. That was those were the two kind of more unpleasant topics. For anyone who was on yesterday or last night or early this morning, you may have seen Discord got a bit of a facelift. I got super bored last night and decided that Discord did not look right. So we added a bunch of I added a bunch of categories. I've tried to break things up to make things look a bit more organized, I guess. I had tried it with the previous setup. I'm trying it with this setup now. I would appreciate feedback if people think it's more easy to understand where different channels are now and if they're broken up properly. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, yeah. So, sorry, I just seen it. Sorry, something just caught my attention. Basically, the Discord has been changed around a bit, so we'll see how it goes. If it looks better, then cool. If it looks worse, then we'll change it again. Roy, you keep keying up. Other than that, there is also going to be there already is an FC structure rework coming. It's something that has been in the works for a while, but most of our attention has been getting the other teams or departments within initiative set up and running as we need them. So like the Diplo team, the SRP team, that kind of thing. There hasn't been a whole lot of love given to the FC team. So I am starting to work on that now. So expect some pings. The recruit channel is now locked. It is no longer an open channel, and we will be trying to organize recruits better and just try and put a bit more structure in there. It's it's going to be hit and miss. We're just going to throw shit at a wall and see what sticks. FC structures in Eve have always been difficult at best to set up properly. I don't think there's any winning formula to it. It might sound stupid if you've never FC'd before, but FCing in Eve can be the best thing about Eve, and it can also be the worst thing about Eve. So just bear with us. Like if you are looking to FC guys, or if you're in those channels but not quite active at the minute, there is going to be a purge just so we can try and get things up and running properly. So please just bear with me on that while we see what's happening there. But yeah, look, that's pretty much it, guys. Actually, there was one other thing. The skill plans for the different configs is going to be coming this week. A lot of them are done. They just haven't had a chance to be implemented into an accessible channel or whatever yet for the alliance. But those that should come next week. Yeah. So hopefully, because I know I'd mentioned that on previous meetings, we'll get that up and running as soon as we can. The older players doesn't matter to you at all, but maybe the newer players or the guys with low SP, it might help somewhat. So yeah, look, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna call an end to the meeting there. But if people have questions that they want to ask, ping me in iGeneral, and I'll do my best to answer them. I want all this shit to be like two-way communication. So if people have questions on the alliance or why the fuck are you doing it this way, Shines, then that's something I want to answer because communication is important, even if we don't do it perfectly all the time. There's not going to be a move up right now unless there's another FC organizing it. We just had a 2-hour fleet down in Esoteria, so it's need a bit of a break, unfortunately. Go get some food. But starting tomorrow, we'll get some official ops posted on the timer board tomorrow. Sorry, for tomorrow, starting tomorrow. I'll get them posted tonight, and then we can get assets moving. Is there a fix coming for character alt? You've had missing skills for doctrine ships for nearly 2 months. We did see a problem with that. I will ask Aaron if we know what's up with that. I suspect it's CCP's ESI being quite fucky and not updating properly. I don't know if there's anything we can do about it, but I will ask Aaron, and we'll see if we can get to the bottom of that. Gull asks, "There's a bunch of corps leaving Bastion for goons. What's going on?" I don't know the details. To the best of my knowledge, there is some inter-alliance drama that's happening over there. I don't have details on it. I don't know what's happening. I've not asked. I don't really care. It's the same as basically information I have is the same as what you guys have. I know there was leaks there of a directors meeting and some stuff like that. But obviously these things happen in Eve. Sometimes there's just a split, but at least they are going to goons. So the corps that are leaving, it's not like they're joining hostiles. So honest answer is I don't know, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, there are a few. What's the plan to keep fire from moving back into Faith whenever we're done or pull out? As far as I know, we're just on kind of like a slash and burn approach at the moment. Faith Abolus itself isn't important. For me and for the SIG, getting fights is what we want. Even if they're not optimal fights, like today, I think we lost 20 bill, we killed 7, but it's 77 people in battleships against 200 people in hacks and bombers. So, it's for the fun of it. Goons are pushing hard in Faith. I mean, we are as well to an extent, but just to ease up pressure on Esoteria and give the guys that are living in Esoteria a bit of breathing room, while giving the guys who want to PvP something to do in Eve. But as for long-term plans, not a whole lot that I can say at the moment. I mean, there are things, but I don't want to go into them in detail at the moment because they're not solid enough yet. I'm going to skip that question, Wes. Are we doing anything as an alliance at FanFest? Where can we get the Imperium dinner details? Honestly, I'm not sure, Salmandi. I'm not going to FanFest this year. I might go next year. Just this year doesn't suit. Unfortunately, I don't have any details. I've not been keeping up to date. What I can do, if we like, is set up, because I know we all love new channels, is set up an Init FanFest channel if people want to join that channel, and then they can at least communicate with each other through Discord that way. If you think that's helpful, there already is one. All right, okay. Well then, yeah. The short answer then is I have no idea. Anything to do with Imperium? I would imagine it's probably on the Goon forums. Bornfar asks, how's Bliss doing? He's doing well, as far as I know. Super busy in real life. Same as a lot of people are, but he's doing well. And how much longer will the crab bounties be available to collect in Fates? I don't have an end date on it. As long as we're attacking Fate Abyss, keep going for it. And I'm probably going to, well, the fact that they've kind of given up a bit on Fate Abyss, not completely, but a bit, we're probably going to extend that to the surrounding regions. So basically, anyone harassing the shit out of Fire can get paid for it. But I'll confirm that once we actually implement that. But for now, it's Fate. All right, guys, we just passed the half-hour mark. I appreciate people showing up. There wasn't any kind of groundbreaking news on this. Again, what I'm hoping to get from these is just keep everybody up to date on what's happening kind of on the upper levels of the Alliance, what we're focused on, what we might want to do next, things that we're concerned about. And then a big part of what I want to do is if people have questions they want to ask, now is the time to ask them. I'm a big believer in just try to be honest and deal with the shit. People who were within it during the war will have seen that. I didn't try to sugarcoat anything. If things aren't going well, I'll tell you they're not going well, and then we'll deal with it together instead of trying to spin shit. So, if there are questions people want to ask, this is a good time to do it. But hopefully, guys, I'll be honest, we're probably not going to do it every week, maybe every 2 weeks, because I don't want to drag 200 people here just to listen to me talk for half an hour. It's not fun for you or me. I mean, it's not that it's not fun, but people could be spending their Sunday evenings doing better things, especially if it's just old information being rehashed. But yeah, it is something I want to do. So we'll see how it goes. If there's big news, we'll do it every week. If there's not, we might do it every 2 weeks. I don't want to put a solid promise in place just so we can be a bit fluid about it each week. What I will do is make sure that we're getting recordings up on the that we're getting recordings up that people can listen to. All right, guys. Thank you for coming. Watch out for pings as always. But other than that, have a good Sunday evening. And please. Oh, actually, the big thing, the hour change, right? Watch out for the hour change. It fucking catches people when they think an hour. If there's a fleet or something or move up, make sure that it's that you're looking at the right time. Everything the Alliance does will be broadcast through Eve time. Eve time has not changed, but if you're in Ireland or the UK or I think Europe as well, your hour has changed last night. So just something to keep in mind.